It's more sensitive than any camera. It's as individual as a fingerprint. It can betray your emotional secrets. And its lining is actually part of your brain. This amazing organ not only sees, but also makes sense of the world around us. Take an in-depth look at vision through the eyes of an artist. Next on Body Atlas. Every morning, the sun's rays burst into our world, flooding it with light. Like most living creatures, we've evolved eyes to use this light to help us understand our surroundings. When we look at a scene or an object, no matter how confusing or complicated, we're able to interpret it very quickly. Are we seeing 4 objects here? 1 in each corner of the picture? Of course not. Clearly, it's a human face behind a window frame. Caroline, our artist, will use this skill when she starts painting. But Guy, who makes art films, must use a camera. And the camera can't make that judgment. It can only capture an image. We think we see pictures like a camera, but our eyes and brain are doing something far more complicated. A camera records every little detail, including all the changes of light. But the human eye concentrates only on what's important. For example, the color of an orange always seems the same. In reality, our eyes and brain identify the color orange under different lighting conditions. We recognize a banana partly by its color and partly by its shape. If we want to draw a bowl of fruit, we look for edges, shapes, textures, and shadows. First we scan, and then we analyze a scene for all those characteristics. A camera can't do any of that. As Guy makes his video of how the artist works, his camera simply feeds the picture onto a tape and to this television set, leaving it up to our eyes to make a final analysis. As a skilled artist, Caroline has an eye for good composition. Her brain and her eyes always work in unison to see and interpret the world. And our eyes provide others with a pathway to our brain and personality. As they see us, our eyes are the window to our intelligence, our consciousness, some say, even our soul. They certainly reveal the focus of Caroline's attention, but we can also tell when she's tired or distracted. They signal our emotions of joy, anger, or distress. Is there anything wrong? Well, not a lot in this case. Just her father trying to help in the kitchen.
Well, I've got to have lunch.
Against irritations or invasion, our eyes have successive lines of defense. The eyelids blink to seal the eye, or the lashes may block dirt before it gets in. If anything from the outside world does get through, the next defense is water to wash it away. Our eyes produce a lifelong trickle of tears. They come from glands high up under the outer corners of the eyelids and flow continuously across the eye, bathing it in a watery layer. Tiny glands dotted along the lower eyelid produce oil. This oil separates the water from the outside air to form a thin, smooth, unbroken film. It protects the whole exposed surface of the eye. That's the oil film emerging from beneath her eyelid. The water also contains a bactericide to help prevent infection. Our tears rarely overflow. Instead, this tiny river washes away dead cells and dust, even tiny hairs, towards the inner corner of the eye, where it drains into a hole. That tube passes all the debris down into the nose. We blink so often, our eyes are shut for almost half an hour each day. Caroline, satisfied with her sketch, will now move on to oils, and her blink rate changes at each stage of her task. As she concentrates, she blinks less. Each eye is a ball, an inch across, that weighs 1/4 ounce. It's turned and rotated by a combination of 6 muscles. There's even a pair that can twist it just a little. The complex process of vision starts here. Light enters the eye through a transparent window in the eyeball, the cornea. Its bulging surface bends light to a focus inside the eye. The cornea is constructed like the laminated windshield of a car. It's made up of 3 main layers, and although there are plenty of pain sensors to remind us to take good care of the cornea, its elastic central region is tough. And it supports a layer bursting with life that's just 5 cells thick. This constantly renews itself. New cells grow from the inside, and within a week they reach the outer surface. Here, the oldest cells break free and, still alive, are sloughed away by our lifelong flow of tears. To focus sharply, the outer surface of the cornea must be absolutely smooth. To correct any slight unevenness in the outer layer of cells, the oily surfaced film ensures a smooth finish. Tiny blood vessels supply the whites of our eyes with oxygen and nourishment, but they come to an abrupt stop right at the edge of the cornea. So beyond that, we have a clear window to the outside world.